talking shit, yeah, they breath stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like an...
What's going on, fight fans? It's another great day when you love MMA. Welcome back to Matty Fight Talk. UFC Paris, France just went down at the Accor Arena. It had a main event between top heavyweight contenders, number 1 Ciryl Gane taking on number 3 Tai Tuivasa. And it also had top middleweight contenders between Robert the Reaper Whittaker and Marvin the Italian Dream Vettori. It was just a completely stacked fight card. There were plenty of Paris, France fighters on there. It lived up to the hype. I was waiting for this one for a minute. I could not wait to see what went down between Gane and Tai Tuivasa. And without any further ado, let's jump right into what happened. So Ciryl Gane, number 1 contender, taking on Tai Tuivasa, who's been on a 5-fight win streak. All wins have come by KO. This guy has been riding a wave of momentum. Both guys have wins over guys like Derek Lewis. Ciryl Gane did recently lose to Francis Ngannou in a heavyweight title match. But regardless, Ciryl Gane fighting on his home turf, taking on the Australian Tai Tuivasa, and Gane ended the fight in the 3rd round. It was a 3rd round TKO. Tai Tuivasa has a fucking iron chin on that guy. And his body's made of steel. I mean, the guy was eating some powerful shots. Now, if you guys watched my prediction video, I did call this fight going down in the 3rd round by TKO. So I was very close. I mean, I don't know if it was a KO, TKO, whatever. But the fight stopped in the 3rd round, just as I predicted. Ciryl Gane kind of picked Tuivasa apart in the 1st round. He looked like he was reading the timing, the distance. Tuivasa's a lot faster than I thought he was. He was waiting, very patient, landed some nice shots in the 1st round as well. It was clearly a 10-9 for Gane. Gane looked like it was vintage Ciryl Gane, just standing very long, touching him up with the jab, waiting for his kicks. He looked really good in the 1st round. 2nd round comes along, a lot more of the 1st. Gane starts picking up the jab, starts landing some more. Tuivasa ended up landing a fucking haymaker right hand, dropped Ciryl Gane. And in the post-fight interview, Michael Bisping asked him if that shot hurt him when he went down, and he said he got knocked out, but woke right back up and somehow continued to fight. So it was a very powerful game-ending style shot that Tuivasa landed. Gane ended up withstanding the storm and started throwing a barrage of stomach shots at Tuivasa. He landed a very hard body kick and then a flurry of body kicks, a lot of body knees. He went heavy to the body after getting dropped, and you could see it making a big difference. Tuivasa's hands slowly started dropping, especially in the 3rd round. These guys started tagging each other up. Ciryl Gane started going to the body again, and then he ended up landing a fucking vicious high head kick that put Tuivasa on skates. Once again, opened up the body. He started mixing it up. His timing was perfect. His shots were perfect. And if I am Jon Jones, I'm absolutely terrified to have to fight any one of these guys. But regardless, Ciryl Gane got the job done. He ended up landing a great uppercut, like right hook. He put a flurry of strikes on, landed a few hammer fists on the ground, put Tuivasa out on his shield. So the big question is, what's next for this guy? What's next for Tuivasa? Because to me, both of these guys, they're dangerous. Tuivasa showed that he could definitely be a showstopper. He dropped Ciryl Gane and hurt him bad. So to me, he didn't lose anything in his stock. And Ciryl Gane, he's the rising star. If anything, I would like to see him face Francis Ngannou again. But if I'm Jon Jones, talking all that shit, been on a 3-year layoff, he is the GOAT of light heavyweight, but you have not fought once in the heavyweight. I would be absolutely terrified to have to take on a guy like Tuivasa, Ciryl Gane. Stipe, yeah, that's a good matchup for him because Stipe is an underweighted heavyweight. But yeah, dude, he's going to have serious problems going against guys like this. I mean, if he's going to implement some heavy wrestling and these guys don't have an answer for that, that could be a benefit in his favor. But I'm curious to see if they end up matching Jon Jones up with somebody like Tuivasa or Ciryl Gane. Because he is supposed to be fighting Stipe Miocic, but that's not set in stone yet. But regardless, shout out to Ciryl Gane getting it done in Paris. And that crowd was just spectacular. The energy was there. It was packed from the very first fight. Going on to the co-main event, Robert Whittaker absolutely handled business against Marvin Vettori. Vettori is a very tough, gritty guy, but he had no answer for Robert Whittaker in this fight. The wrestling wasn't there. He didn't land a takedown. He got absolutely out fucking worked in the striking. He got picked apart. It was a masterclass performance by Robert Whittaker, who looked like he was almost completely untouched in the fight. Vettori landed a few shots, but Whittaker was like a sniper with the way he was in, out, landing, and hurting Vettori on multiple occasions. The first round, he kind of felt him out, felt the distance, felt the timing. The second round, he was landing rifle shots, very, very hard head kicks. He looked like he was doing better than when Paulo Costa fought Vettori. Costa fought him at 205. It was insane to see how hard Robert Whittaker hits, how fast this guy is, how elusive he is, and how good his takedown defense is. Vettori had no answers, and then Whittaker got 2 takedowns of his own later in the fight. Now, both of these guys have 2 losses to Ciryl Gane. The second one for Robert Whittaker was very close. It could have, somehow it went only to Adesanya. I feel like that could have went either way. But I wouldn't mind seeing Robert Whittaker take on the winner of Pereira and Adesanya. I wouldn't mind seeing Robert Whittaker fight Paulo Costa either. That would be a really good fight. Whittaker has options. He's very dangerous, and he is probably going to be the #1 contender for a long time if he doesn't get to face Adesanya. I'm hoping Pereira gets the knockout over Adesanya just to see Robert Whittaker fight for the belt again because, man, Bobby Knuckles is one of my favorite fighters, and I absolutely love that dude. If you guys missed that fight, you guys missed a fucking striking show. It was beautiful, one-sided. Vettori had no answers. Vettori needs to get back to the gym and reassess himself, get better. His striking needs to get better. He needs to be able to throw combos. He's very big, very strong. He can eat a punch. He's got a good chin. His wrestling's there, but against guys like Whittaker and Adesanya, man, he really can't do anything. Moving further down the fight card, Nasruddin Imavov took on Joaquin Buckley, and if you guys missed this fight, man, there was a lot of heated energy between these guys. Imavov and Buckley came out before the fight started when they were being announced right to the middle of the ring, got right in each other's faces. Imavov gave him a little shove. In the first round, Imavov completely controlled the action. He looked like he was very hard to touch. He's 6'3", taking on 5'10" Buckley. It looked like a light heavyweight taking on a middleweight. It was crazy. Buckley had no answer, man. He really was struggling to close the gap in the first 2 rounds. Got picked apart a little bit. And yeah, he was getting outworked. Imavov was going for takedowns. I mean, he just looked way more elusive, but then he did gas out in the 3rd round. Imavov did, and Buckley showed a lot of heart. Came out swinging for the fences, caught Imavov on a few occasions. Really closed the gap on the judges' scorecards with that round. He really, really was trying to win that fight. So I give Buckley a lot of credit, especially taking on a tough guy like Imavov. I like Buckley because he doesn't shy away from tough fights. Imavov is a very dangerous contender, and he's going to be dangerous in the middleweight. So there was a lot of action for both of these fighters going forward. There was a moment in the fight where Imavov and Buckley, he front kicked the mouthpiece out of Buckley's mouth and then tried to get right in his face as Mark Goddard was putting it back in his mouth, and he tried to just continue to fight without being told he could fight. That shit was funny. Goddard was being like a fucking preschool teacher over there, like, no, you need to listen, wait, I will take a point. Mark Goddard's such a bitch. I can't stand that guy as a referee. I mean, he's good at his job sometimes, but then sometimes he's like a fucking preschool teacher. It's like, we get it, bro. You run the shit in the ring. Shut the fuck up and let these guys fight, all right? Regardless, that was a funny moment. Imavov really must have hated Buckley, and he really wanted to tear that dude's head off. But Buckley made it a good fight. It ended up going the whole 3 rounds. Imavov ended up winning by decision, so he's going to continue to move up the rankings. I think he's number 12 right now. He's probably going to keep moving up. Buckley was unranked, but it was a good performance. Buckley had times in that fight where he could have quit and could have gave up, but he ended up putting on a hell of a performance and fought his fucking ass off, so there's no shame in that, especially against a tough guy like Imavov, so shout out to Buckley as well. But Imavov gets the job done. Alessio Di Chirico fought Roman Kopylov. Anyway, that was a fucking good fight. Both of these guys can scrap. I thought Roman was going to do a lot more grappling than he did. I mean, he is a KO artist, but he ended up landing some bombs in the 3rd round and ended up knocking out Di Chirico pretty bad. I mean, he caught him with some punches, and then Alessio backed up to the cage, completely dropped his hands, and ate like a 1-2-3 on the chin and got dropped. So it was a 3rd round TKO for Kopylov, who looked really good in that fight. Roman was fast as fuck, landing really nice 1-2s. He was in and out. There's a few moments where Alessio had some nice straights that he landed straight on Roman's nose. But Kopylov, ate that shit, kept moving forward. His hands looked really, really good in that fight. He looked like he was slowing down a little bit at the end of the 2nd round, but the 3rd round came out and he was on fire. He ended up getting a TKO in the 3rd round. So Roman Kopylov, winner in that fight and continuing up the rankings. But looking to get another big middleweight fight. Potentially going to fight Imavov down the line, so you never know. With the middleweights, it's a lot of competition in that weight class. William Gomez, representing France on the fight card, fought Jarno Aarons. It was a really good back and forth fight. William, I think this was his UFC debut. Both of these guys were throwing down the whole 3 rounds. They fought to a 3-round decision where William won. Now, William had a really slow start to the fight, and Aarons really just didn't have an answer for anything that Gomez was doing. But I thought it was interesting. He stood in a really tight Muay Thai stance and let the fight come to him. Showed some really good grappling. Stand-up was on point, so William Gomez got the win, three-round decision. Now, one of the better fights on the fight card was the main card opener between Ciryl Gane and Nathaniel Wood. These guys fought their asses off. Ciryl Gane, I think he's known for doing the Spartan kick, so everybody really knows him for that. But now he's like evolved into a really good striker. Nathaniel Wood and Jordan just stood in the pocket. They fought like they were in a phone booth. Nasty, dirty boxing combinations that would end with front kicks back. It was back and forth the whole time. These guys did not give each other any space. They were landing really fucking dirty boxing, nice, clean combinations. That was my favorite fight to watch on the fight card. Nathaniel Wood ended up winning a 3-round decision. That's the kind of pace I like to see for featherweights. That's fucking crazy. They're forehead to forehead, just in the pocket, just ripping, throwing uppercuts, throwing hooks. They were throwing kicks in there. I think Nathaniel Wood ended up getting the win because he had the edge in the grappling department. He had a few takedowns and a bunch of nice outside trips that, Jordan got right back up on the trips. There's a few takedowns. He was able to get back up as well. But because the grappling was so well mixed in by Wood, he ended up getting the advantage in the decision. It was unanimous, but it was a good fight regardless. If you guys haven't seen that, I would recommend going back and watching that because those guys were so technical, so fast, and such a high pace. It was awesome to watch that. But regardless, Nathaniel Wood gets the win. I like Ciryl Gane as well. I can't wait to watch both of these guys fight again. This fight card was amazing. Paris, France is an awesome crowd. These guys were loud, super loud in the main event. They had one of their guys in the main event, so that's going to lead to them getting even more hype. And I'm just saying, man, the energy with the crowds, I couldn't stand watching fights during the pandemic. It was like watching dudes fight in training where they're just sparring and the coaches and the friends were yelling at them and shit. I mean, it's cool for a few times, but I'm glad we are back to opening up shit so the public can be in the arena. I feel like that energy brings the best out of people. And you heard a few of these fighters say, man, the crowd really kept me in it. They really got me hyped. I bet it did, because there is nothing like an adrenaline rush, hearing thousands of people screaming when you're hammering, fisting somebody's face. It's just amazing. But like always, guys, hit the bell icon to be notified when I drop more content. Smash that like button. Leave me in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought about the fights. And I will see you guys on the next one.
Haters talking shit, yeah, they breath stank. Walk up in the club dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like an